Sunny. Sunny's mom. You know Sunny's mom. Everybody knows Sunny's mom. Hello, Rijeka. Hey, so the bad thing is our racing mesh was empty, so we had to stop. And it didn't arrive until now. So, but something else arrived and I will show you. Package! You can see it good, but that is my new clutch. I'm pretty excited out of it. So I couldn't wait, I had to open it yesterday. So here we have the B-ring, and that's the tool to center the clutch disc. That's the new clutch. That's an organic material because I still use the car as a daily. And I don't want the copper mix or anything because then it's too bumpy if I want to drive normal. Then we have here the pressure plate, and as you can see, it's pretty damn strong. So it's definitely an upgrade. The old clutch is not broke, but it's not strong enough, and it's a little bit used from the pre-owner because the pre-owner was 84 years old Japanese man and he burned the clutch a little bit, so I bought a new one. And in that I bought a lightning flywheel, so the car should be much better after that little big boy. Yeah, and that's the plan for today. Changing the clutch.
So how old is the clutch now?
The clutch is OEM, so 1998. That's 23 years. Or is it? I don't know. I'm in the car mode, so don't let me count anything. Be nice to me. Okay, you stop for now.
Why?
Because first step I want to unplug the battery because I have to put out the starter, and on the starter we have battery voltage and I don't want to make a battery plus on battery minus. So we put out the battery. So, and when you unplug a battery, it's all the time important that you first unplug the minus, because when I touch the minus, the chassis, it's minus and minus and nothing will happen. When I touch with plus the chassis and the minus is still connected, then we have shortened the battery, and that's not so smart. It's funny, but it's not smart. A lot of sparklers are coming and I like sparklers. So, unplug minus. Make sure he can't jump back. And then we unplug plus. And here the same. I will carry him somewhere where he can't shorten it. So, okay, now we can start. So, we lift the car and here's the gearbox. And to replace the clutch, we have to put out the gearbox because the clutch sits in between the gearbox and the engine and makes the connection or no connection. And as you can see, it's a big piece of metal, a lot of screws to open it. So we had enough work for today. let's roll. Okay. I think we start to put out the exhaust, this piece. Then we put out the hydraulic, put out the electric. Then we take out the starter. And then we take out the, I forgot always the name in English, Kardanwelle in English. So that's the wave that brings the power to the rear wheel transaxle. So that has to go out, and then we have to open all the screws between engine and gearbox. And then it should be possible to put the gearbox a little bit to the back. Then we flip the back a little bit to the bottom, and then we carry it out. But for that we need some real man muscle power. So I asked my dad, and my cameraman have to help me too. So later my girlfriend will take the camera and the cameraman will stand in front. Yeah. So you can see him too. That's nothing special, but I like him. Yeah. But to be honest, it's nice. I have so much space. That's awesome. Okay, first before I start to open any screws, I will spray the screws in so they go easier off, and I don't want to crack any screws and have some more work and shit like that. So I spray it in, then I let it for a few minutes, and then I will open the screws. It makes the mechanic life much easier. So that's the exhaust screws, and they always rusty. So, and then maybe we can make it on the gearbox too, to make our life a little bit easier. Okay, we have more space, that's good. So we try to put the starter out, but the top screw is hard to reach, and now I've searched a way to reach the screw, what is not so easy.
Never in my life did I imagine it be peace. Never in my life did I imagine it be peace. Never in my life did I imagine it be peace. Never in my life did I imagine it be peace.
That's good. Girlfriend with small hands.
Let's up.
There we go.
Kiwi.
Woo! Oh,
Okay, close up. Auto starter, and he's not tightened anymore, but he's hanging on some wire. Now I have to put the wires out because I have to make him a little bit more out, I think, because otherwise it will be in the way later. And when we are holding the gearbox, we don't want anything that we have to unscrew or unconnect, so everything has to be unconnected and unscrewed before we take it off, because when we take it off it's heavy, so we just want to take it off and put it on the ground and not holding and try to make anything that we forgot. So we had to be 100% sure that everything is off. There we go. One unconnected. See, here they have some rubber protection. Okay, that sounds weird. Around the connectors. And again, from the beginning. So here they have some rubber protections. I know that sounds weird. And I can't push them backwards to open the connector, so I had to try it like this, put the connector a little bit out, and then it's here. I don't know if you can see it. Here inside I have to push it in and unlock the connector. Now I can show you easier because now it's out and now I get the rubber away. So here I have to unlock it from here. When I press that, then I can disconnect it. So that was easy, but that one was a little bit tricky because I had to go here with the screwdriver in and lift it to unlock it, and then I had to pull it to disconnect it. When the plastic is on it, you have to pull on the other wire, and oh, not enough hands. Always the same problem. So now we want to pull out the shaft. We don't know the right shaft. Google says propeller shaft, but that's wrong. So the shaft that puts the power from the gearbox to the transaxle, the shaft, you know what I mean. And for that I have to counter it and open the screws. Food is ready. Oh. Jesus. In the mechanic school, they teach us never make an extension for your tools. That's not safety, they say. Number 2. Really?
Yes.
So I when I have to go on the toilet, I say number 2. Number 2. I ask you, and if you don't give me a good translation, then it's your fault, not mine. I make the joke good. Number 3 Is that a code for anything?
No.
Good. Such a hard work. Oh, hello, hello, hello. That's a good sign. If your exhaust had an echo, that's always good. Shaft out. Woohoo! So it's movable here and here. Drive shaft, yes! That's the word we were searching for. Und nicht zu groß. Now we have to unplug the shifter. That goes directly into the gearbox. So here these 4 screws. And then I can put the shifter on top. And then it's almost ready for take the gearbox off.
Habe ich noch nie durch, aber einfach den Schaltknopf drin lassen im Getriebe.
Also einfach oben nur den Schaltknopf abgemacht und dann nach unten durchgezogen mit dem Getriebe. So now we have to unlock, unscrew the shift knob from the gearbox, and I called a friend with R34 GTR, and he already did the engine drop and the gearbox drop. I never did it before, so I called him, and he was saying I had to put this out, and then there's 4 screws from the top, and so you make it from the inside. And I don't like it to sit with dirty working clothes in my new interior. That's why I have the protection here. And I'm being pretty careful. This. So jetzt brauche ich einen 10er. So, and here these 4 screws we had to unlock, and then we can take it out completely. That we can do too another day. That's for the trunk hydraulic, because mine are a little bit weak. They can't lift it with the spoiler, so I bought new one. Japanese wire zip for free. Aber ich hab eigentlich.
Ja. Probier's dann. Raus.
Da sind 6 Löcher.
Na, die ist ja schon raus, die. Oder?
So kommen wir nicht raus. Okay. Geht's ab. Okay, jetzt hat's für die Kissen. You see what my clutch is saying? You know what DK means?
Donkey Kong?
No, Drift King.
Darf ich jetzt wohin?
Ja. Normally the bearing should go out. That's the reason why you can't put out the gearbox, so we had to.
Das sind die Klammern da.
No, can you bring some? So we finally got the gearbox out. The problem was the gearbox was this arm is sitting in here like this and move the bearing. And the problem was that the bearing is completely tight now, connected with these, and normally you can take it out like this by normal clutches. But what we doesn't know that the Skyline clutch is the bearing. When I press it in, and I have it wrong. So the bearing goes in, and then it gets holded by this ring. So the bearing is tied with the bearing is tied with the clutch. Let me make some light. So it's here, and then I can't take the bearing out, and that was the problem because we doesn't know that, and we never had that before. And I made a lot of clutches, and my dad made millions of clutches. I have no idea. So we had to take these the arm out. So here's your safety thing inside in the hole. So I had to take this out, and then I had to press it out until it goes completely out, and just then we can put out the gearbox, and we didn't know that, so that was a fight. But we finally did it. We figured out how it goes. And now we are cleaning everything, and then we will make the new flywheel on. So that's the old flywheel, and it's more heavy. And here we have the new flywheel. And as you can see, it's way easier than the old one. And that makes the car revs faster and better. More fun. Okay. Normally you should wear a mask, but I don't have a mask here now. So I don't care. So all the dust you see is from the disc, the material that goes off, and it stays here until we change it. But that dust, we want to have it out.
Open the door. Open the door.
Why? You don't want to breathe the good clutch dust? So, and make sure if you have all the stuff out that you cleaning the shit, because if the gearbox in, it's impossible to clean it, and you don't want all the shit from the old clutch in the new clutch. So now I will clean the new flywheel, because there was a little bit of wax or oil on it from the transporting, and we don't want that shit on the new clutch, so we have to clean it. Okay, sweet. So now I will put the new flywheel in, and as you can see, we have here the holes for the screws and one extra hole, and we have here the holes for the screws and one extra cylinder. So it has to go like this, and the extra hole has to fit in the extra cylinder like this. Zack, bam. And now we put the new screws in. Okay, now we have to tighten the screws, and when we tighten the screws, we don't go around, you have to make a star, so like this. So otherwise it could be banned if anything goes bad. And to tighten it, because it will turn, because the engine will turn, so I make here a gearbox screw in, and now I will hold it here, and that gives me the opportunity to tighten the screws. I maybe should take the screw somewhere else, because my screwdriver is too long. So, and now I can go here with the screwdriver, and that allows me to tighten the screws. And like I said before, we make a star, so we don't go once around. Oops. That should not happen, but that's not too bad if it happened. Okay, now to be safe that I tighten all of them, now I can go once around. We don't forget any screw. Okay, that's it, new flywheel is in. Okay, so the next step is to put the clutch in. But first we remove the sticker, because I don't want the sticker flying around in my gearbox or in my clutch box, because the gearbox is closed, so that's more clutch box. And normally on the clutch discs you have the right outside or gearbox side or engine side or anything. Here it's then nothing, but we have to go this direction, because when I turn it around, then this will touch the flywheel and it's impossible to put the gearbox back on. So that new stuff, and of course we put new screws in without cutting my finger. I have cutted my fingers more than enough. Last year I cutted my finger with the fucking angle grinder all the way to the bone. I cut through the seam, and so that's not funny, and don't do that. Don't try this at home.
I hope it doesn't break.
But when it breaks, we can see. You can say I saw it coming. So now we took the new pressure plate on, and that's easy. Just no, wait, I'm stupid. I forgot the plate. I don't need the paper, go away. So like this. Oh wait again. So this has to go like this, because when I put it in the other direction, it will stand on the flywheel, and then you're unable to put the pressure plate on. So always that direction, the flat side has to go on the flywheel, and that's it. Everything that you have to be worried about. Then we put it on like this. Can you give me the center door? Black plastic? No, left side. It should be somewhere there. The black piece of plastic. Not again. Oh wait, now I see what. Because here's the new pilot bearing. The old one is still here. I have to take the old one out. That goes as best with a screwdriver or an angle or anything. You have to go behind and try to pull it out without damaging anything. Finally, we got the fucking gearbox in. That was such a fight. So we had to make the gearbox. We have to turn it like this. And then we have to go up and then turn it and push the back in. So this movement. And that was pretty hard, because when we touched here, this spring, then it fell down and we had to do anything from the beginning. So we had to make this ring in, the spring in, and that's shit. So yesterday we put the gearbox out, we changed the clutch. And yesterday we put the gearbox back in. Today we have to put all the screws back together, put the starter and put the wire back in, as you can see. And then we had to make new gearbox oil in. I changed the gearbox oil last year, but that doesn't matter. I let it out and I put new in. It's never bad to have good oil in. So yeah, I think that's it for today. Everything what we departed yesterday has to come together today, and that's it. Here comes the oil out, and here we put it in until it ran out, and then the oil level is good. So that's the shift knob, and here I have to put some sealing on so the gearbox oil doesn't go out. I put the spring back in because here's the spring, and that spring has to go in here, but here it won't hold, so I will put it in the gearbox. Now we put the shifter back in, and the shifter had some problems because there's a hole on the piece of plastic that has to go perfect in, and we had the problem it don't go straight, so it was always a little bit on an angle, and that's the reason why we couldn't put it in. But now we figured it out, and now we put the drive shaft back in. Bam. Done. Now we can drive. Screw and washer. I put some cover plates on the screws so they don't get rusted so hard together. Then I have it easier when I open it the next time. And I know I will open it when I change the whole exhaust system. Ouch. Now you finally got it on camera. Are you happy now? Special effects in the workshop. That's the reason why I bought two of these. Last year the gearbox oil change. And I want to change it pretty soon again. And see, they know exactly how much gears I have and where my reverse gear is. That's awesome. That's exactly the same like the Skyline. Shifting is. So I put the funnel onto the rubber pipe, and that goes directly into the opening for the gearbox oil. And now the gearbox oil runs slowly into the gearbox, but it will run. And that's the important stuff. Because otherwise I had to drive in my company and pick up some special pump to do that. And so I can do it by myself. And we will put gearbox oil in until it starts dropping out from the opening. And then we close it, and then we are on the perfect level. Easy. Exactly like that it has to go. So now we put everything back together, and now we try the first start. Then we will run the gearbox and the engine, let it run it a little bit. And then I have to try how fast it revs with the light-in flywheel. So let's try it. Easy. say it now because I don't rev it now when the engine is cold. I'm so excited! That goes fast.
And
I like it. It revs so fast now. That's awesome. And it went faster down. It goes faster up and faster down. I think that's it for today. We did everything what we want to do. The next step is we will depart the headlights because we painted the headlights inside and outside and I have no seating inside, and so I had to put the headlights back together. Then I want to adjust the fenders because the fenders was departed from painting and the painter just put it on and nothing is adjusted, so we have to adjust all the gaps. And then I want to make the mesh, the racing mesh in the hood too, but I think I only have space for the green one, so I can put the honeycomb mesh first and then the green one, and I think it should be enough when we have the green one. Should be look awesome. Then we have to make the honeycomb and the green mesh on the rear bumper. Then I want to put my reverse camera in and finish the interior, put all the little tiny stuff back. Okay, now the battery died, so I have to continue. So we have to make the racing mesh and the honeycomb mesh in the rear bumper. I think I said it before. And then I have to put the camera, the reverse camera in and put all the interior stuff back in because we had all the interior out to make new leather on, and we hadn't the time to put it everything perfectly together, so we just put the important stuff in, and now it's the time to put everything perfect back together. And we have 1 month more until the season will start, and I think we should do that. And before the season start I will change the oil and the oil filter and gasoline filter. The brake fluid I changed last year, but I think I can, yeah. Let's change it again. That's always good. Yeah, and then we are ready for the season. And maybe in the next winter we will make more performance stuff. Depends on the money. It's always the money. Yeah. That's it for today.